I remember one of the most profound things I heard. I've been following you since like way back, and the biology of belief. You started lecturing on that, and one thing that really blew my mind is because of my near-death experiences, I know for a fact we're gonna move into a unity state consciousness where our identity is shifting. I know this, like I can feel it. This is, and you come in and you say, well, bacteria, they evolve to a certain capacity, and then suddenly they just team up and become something else together, a new identity. And that totally blew my mind. And this is what I'm seeing going on with humanity right now.
I'm glad you're seeing that, because this is a very important point for people to hear.
Yeah. We
are changing our civilization. And we have to change the civilization. It's not a choice. You want to, you don't want to. Because our civilization is destroying the ecology of the planet. And we're facing extinction. And human behavior is doing this. So if we want to survive, we have to change culture. Because the culture is creating the upheaval and destroying the environment, the way we live. And so I say, well, you can't live in this culture anymore. This is the one that's causing the problem. We have to live to a new culture. So I said, well, how does that happen? It doesn't overnight. One night you go to bed or you wake up, it's a new culture. It takes time. So let me give an analogy. A caterpillar eats and eats and eats and eats until it gets so big that it puts itself in a shell, a pupa. And in that shell, a butterfly is formed. I say, well, wait, it starts as a caterpillar, it turns into a butterfly, but they have the same cells. So that meant the cells that were organized as a caterpillar have to let go of organization and then start to come together in a new organization. It didn't happen instantly. One comes down, one's coming up. When we look at the world today, and this is the critical part why when you brought it up, it's so important, we're seeing a civilization that is causing extinction coming down. It's failing everywhere, especially where I live. The whole thing, you know, just the politics in the U.S. is showing the thing is blowing up. It's not working. It's destructive. So, and a lot of people are like in fear because they see, oh, everything, you know, the job, the security, the safety. I'm afraid because they see it coming apart. And I go, no, that's the problem. Don't focus on what's coming apart. Something new is coming up.
Yes, exactly. The new earth.
And you're part of this system here. What do you, it's the internet system. It's the nervous system that is connecting all the people that thought they were separate into one organism. That's how my one organism called Bruce is not a one organism. There are 50 trillion cells. Every cell is a living entity. A cell is a miniature human. They live in a community. When my government, my brain is working right, my community is healthy and happy. But when my brain sends the wrong information and creates the problems, that's where the disease comes from, okay? And that's where our conscious minds and our subconscious minds are they're interlocked with each other. But the subconscious has nobody in it. It's just a program, record, playback. And so trying to talk to the subconscious like a lot of people do, oh, I want to change my behavior. I'm going to change it. I'm not going to do this. I say, who are you talking to? I'm talking to the subconscious to change the program. I go, there's nobody in there. So you're wasting a lot of time. There's nobody listening, so don't bother.
It's just a mechanism. It's just a mechanism.
There's nobody in there. It's just a mechanism. 100%, Joshua. That is exactly what the story is. And if people get this information, which I'm hoping this is why we're talking about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that, am I a robot or am I the controller of a robot? The body is more like a robot with a brain that's a controller. But the brain has a program and the brain has a spirit. Which one's running? When it runs from the spirit, we create heaven on earth. When it runs from the program, we create whatever the hell the program said it was. Violence, war, anger, everything. So I say, look at the world. We've been separated for thousands of years as individual people competing with each other. And what do we find out? That behavior is destructive of the planet. It's causing our own extinction. That we have to start recognizing we're all part of one. It's called humanity. Each of us is a cell in the same body. So if we fight each other, that's called in biology autoimmune disease, self-destruction. And that's the biggest issue in health, is because what's going on in the outer world is being reflected what's going on in the inner world. Most of the sickness we have has nothing to do with the outer world, and everything in the way we're sending signals to the 50 trillion citizens whose community and harmony give us our body and our health, but whose disharmony is expressed as illness and disease. And so where did the disease and things come from? Only 1% from genes, 1%. 90+% came from the government, the mind that was sending signals to the cells. Are they healthy signals or scary signals? Whatever you're concentrating on, that's what you're sending. And the signals of health and love create vibrant, vital life. But the signals of fear actually will shut down the system and cause all the disease. And that's why there's so much sickness on this planet, is people are afraid of their future. They don't have trust that they're going to be okay. The war, anger, everything.
They do what the mind does, which is totally worrying about the future or the past and not in the present.